My stepdaughter is getting married on August 3rd. The wedding planning has completely consumed her life and her mother's life for the past 6 months. Her mother and I have been together for over 10 years, though we're not officially married. My stepdaughter graduated last December from university. I paid for her entire college education. Even though it was just a state school, it still cost me $40,000. She doesn't have a job and has been living with us throughout her entire college career and since graduation. I also bought her a car to get back and forth to school when she finished high school. "You didn't have to do all that," my girlfriend had said when I'd written that final tuition check. "She's family," I'd replied. Now, here's where things get complicated. From time to time, her deadbeat father pops into her life, and she absolutely fawns all over him. This man has not contributed a single cent to her education. He's never paid any child support, though, to be fair, that's partially my girlfriend's fault. Child support wasn't part of their settlement. But despite everything, my stepdaughter still loves him and wants him in her life. He stays around just long enough to break her heart by skipping town and breaking whatever promise he made to her this time. I've watched this cycle repeat itself for a decade. Every time he calls, her face lights up like she's 15 again. "Dad's coming to visit," she'll announce, and my girlfriend will shoot me a warning look that says, "Don't you dare say anything." So I don't. I just pick up the pieces when he inevitably disappears again. The venue holds a maximum of 250 people. When they first started planning, I sat down with both of them in our living room. "I want to help make this special," I said. "I've got a list of about 20 people I'd like to invite. Family, friends, colleagues who've known her since she was a kid, people who've been part of our lives." My stepdaughter smiled at me. "Of course, that's no problem at all. Right, Mom?" "Absolutely," my girlfriend agreed, squeezing my hand. "We'll make sure they all get invitations." "Great. I'll send you the list with addresses and everything." "Perfect. This is going to be such a beautiful day." So I informed these people that they'd be receiving invitations and should save the date. I was excited, proud even. My stepdaughter was getting married, and I was going to be there to celebrate with the people who mattered to us. This past Saturday, I saw one of my friends from that list at the golf course. Tom had been my business partner for 15 years and had known my stepdaughter since she was in middle school. "Hey, John, you got your tux sorted for the wedding?" I called out as we headed to the clubhouse. He gave me a strange look. "What do you mean?" "The wedding, August 3rd. You're coming, right?" I'm not invited, buddy." My stomach dropped. "What? No, you're definitely on the list. You should have gotten an invitation by now." "I got something," he said slowly, "but it was just an announcement." Hold on. He walked to his car and returned with an envelope. "See? Just says they're getting married. No actual invite." I took it from him, my hands suddenly feeling cold. Sure enough, it was just an announcement, and my name was nowhere on it. It only had her dad's name and her mom's name, not mine. I don't understand," I muttered. "Hey, it's okay," Tom said, clapping me on the shoulder. "These things get complicated with families. Don't worry about it." But I was worried about it. I was furious about it. I drove home immediately, barely seeing the road. When I walked through the door, my girlfriend was in the kitchen with my stepdaughter looking at fabric swatches. "We need to talk," I said, my voice tight. "Now." My girlfriend looked up, startled by my tone. "What's wrong?" "Tom isn't invited to the wedding." "Oh." She exchanged a glance with my stepdaughter. "Well, we can explain." "None of them are invited, are they?" I demanded. "Not one person from my list." My stepdaughter stood up. "It's not like that." "Then what is it like? Because I just found out that my name isn't even on the announcement, just your mom's name and your dad's name." I spat out the last 2 words. "The dad who's done absolutely nothing for you." "He's still my father," she shot back, her voice rising. "And what am I?"
What have I been for the past 10 years? My girlfriend stepped between us. Look, the venue holds 250 people. It's very tight, and we had to make some difficult decisions. Difficult decisions? I laughed bitterly. I gave you a list of 20 people. 20 out of 250. His family is very large, and we have a lot of friends from college, and who's paying for this wedding? Silence. That's what I thought. My girlfriend tried a different approach. Look, if some people don't RSVP, maybe we can get a couple of your people in. A couple? Maybe? I could feel my blood pressure rising. Do you have any idea how humiliating this is? I've already told these people they were invited. And now what? They're on a waiting list for a wedding I'm paying for? You're being selfish, she said coldly. This is her special day, not yours. I stared at her. Get out, both of you. I need to think. They laughed, and I spent the rest of Saturday absolutely boiling with rage.
Then came yesterday, Sunday dinner. We had dinner with the future in-laws family, us, and a surprise guest, the real dad. I'd walked into the private dining room at the restaurant and stopped dead when I saw him sitting there. He looked exactly the same. Same cocky smile, same air of someone who'd never had to take responsibility for anything in his life. "Hey there," he said, standing up to shake my hand like we were old friends. "Great to see you again." I shook his hand because everyone was watching. "Didn't know you'd be here." "Last-minute thing," he said with a shrug. "Couldn't miss this dinner, though." We sat down, and I found myself seated at the far end of the table, as far from my stepdaughter as possible. That should have been my first clue. Midway through the appetizers, my stepdaughter stood up, tapping her glass with her fork. "Everyone, I have an announcement to make." Her face was glowing with happiness. "Dad was able to clear his schedule, and he's going to be able to make it to the wedding after all." Applause broke out around the table. I sat frozen, my fork halfway to my mouth. "And that means," she continued, beaming at her father, "that he'll be able to give me away after all." More applause. Her father stood up and hugged her, and she was crying happy tears. I don't think I have ever felt so angry and disrespected in my entire life. I was physically shaking. My vision literally blurred at the edges. I took a few seconds to gather my composure because I honestly wasn't sure if I was going to cry, start throwing punches, or both. Once I was confident I could speak without my voice breaking, I got up from my chair. "I'd like to make a toast." The sound of spoons tapping against glasses rang in my ears. Everyone turned to look at me, smiling expectantly. It has been my great pleasure to be a part of this family for the past 10 years. "How sweet," someone murmured. My stepdaughter smiled at me. At this point in my life, I feel I owe a debt of gratitude to the bride and groom because they have opened my eyes to something very important. Confident smiles were exchanged around the table. My girlfriend nodded approvingly. They have shown me that my position in this family is not what I once thought it was. Now a glimmer of confusion began spreading across the faces in the room. My stepdaughter's smile faltered. Though I once thought of myself as the patriarch, or at the very least a father figure of the family, commanding respect and sought out for help in times of need, it seems instead that I hold the position of an ATM. Good for a steady stream of money, but not much else. "Wait," my girlfriend started. "I'm not finished." I kept my voice level. As I have been replaced as host both on the invitations, where my name is mysteriously absent, and now in the ceremony itself by someone who's contributed absolutely nothing, I am resigning my financial duties as host to my successor. So congratulations to the real dad. The wedding's all yours now. The real dad's face had gone pale. Now hold on. Cheers to the happy couple and the path they have chosen. I finished my drink in one gulp and set the glass down carefully. You all can let yourselves out. The table erupted in chaos. My stepdaughter burst into tears. Her fiancé jumped up. "You can't be serious." "Deadly serious." I pulled out my wallet and threw down enough cash to cover my portion of the meal. Good luck with everything. "You're ruining my wedding!" my stepdaughter screamed. I stopped at the door and turned back. "No, sweetheart. You ruined it yourself when you decided I didn't matter." Is this selfish? Am I really supposed to shell out $40,000 to $50,000 for a wedding where I can't invite anyone I know? Where I'm not even acknowledged as being part of it? I'm so done with this crap. I'm done with my stepdaughter. I'm done with my girlfriend. The drive home was a blur. By the time I got back to the house, my hands had stopped shaking, and a strange calm had settled over me. I went straight to my office and started making calls. I transferred all the money out of our joint account that night. She hasn't had a job since she moved in with me, by the way. This morning, I called all the vendors I'd written checks to for deposits and requested refunds. The florist answered on the second ring. "Petal Perfect, this is Diane." "Hi, Diane. This is calling about the wedding on August 3rd. I need to cancel and request a refund." "Oh no, is everything okay?" "Change of plans. The father of the bride will be handling payment from here on out." "I see. Well, let me pull up your file. At present, it looks like I'll lose around $1,500 for the venue, but the other vendors have been fantastic about refunding my money."
The immediate aftermath was a complete tantrum when they got home that night. People sat in my living room mumbling, not actually saying anything directly to me, but muttering to each other instead. I heard phrases like, "can't believe him," and "so selfish," and "ruining everything." After a lot of yelling from my girlfriend about me being cruel and vindictive, I spent the night in my home office. No one knocked on my door, not once. That told me everything I needed to know. Today's aftermath is kind of depressing for me, honestly. My girlfriend brought me the bride's wedding planner this morning, shoving it across my desk. "Look at this," she demanded. "Look at how much work you're ruining." I thumbed through it slowly. It was impressive, actually, the amount of detail and planning that had gone into everything. But as I flipped through the pages, something caught my eye in the music section. Father-daughter dance songs. All of them were catered to the real dad's taste. Classic rock from the 70s and 80s. Songs I'd never heard her listen to. "You planned a father-daughter dance for him," I said quietly. "Well, yes, but what was I going to do during that dance? Stand in the corner?" She didn't answer. I kept flipping. The menu included crab and shellfish, two things I'm severely allergic to. I've been allergic since before I met them. They've seen me have reactions. They know I carry an EpiPen. That part actually made me laugh. The absurdity of it all. "Is something funny?" my girlfriend snapped. "I literally can't eat the food at a wedding I'm paying for," I said, still laughing. "We were going to have the caterer make you something separate." "Stop." I closed the planner and handed it back to her. "Just stop." At first I thought they were just being disrespectful, but now I'm feeling like they never really gave a crap about me at all. Either way, I'm glad to be done with this. I returned to the planner and asked her when she and the bride could move out. "You can't be serious," she whispered. "I'm completely serious. I want you both out by the end of the week." She left without another word. Also, for the record, I never explicitly promised to pay for the wedding. I offered them the use of my home when they were sure it was going to be small. But other than that, all I've heard for months is how it's the bride's family that should pay. So let it be the bride's family then, which apparently is not me. My girlfriend and the bride have now moved out. They're moving in with his group and his parents. It was very hard not to be petty with some of the belongings they took with them, but it's done. I've switched out all the locks now. Time for a well-deserved beer. I can't believe how popular this story got, but I feel genuinely good to be given support by so many people. If I find out what happens with the wedding, I'll let you know, but I can't guarantee I'll put in the effort to find out. From what I've heard through the grapevine, they're trying to scale things back and get his parents to help out financially. Good luck with that. My girlfriend burned her bridges with me completely when I found out she tried to write herself a check from our joint account the day after the unpleasantness. By then, I'd already moved the money, so I guess that makes me a bigger ass than her, but I could feel it coming, that's all. Thanks to everyone for the support. I'm moving forward now, and honestly, I feel lighter than I have in years.